everybody and welcome back to my channel. For today's video I'm going to be showing you how to do this Brookelle McKenzie off Instagram inspired makeup look. I just love this because it's just super fun and glam and pretty and girly and absolutely perfect for festival season. So to start off with, the first thing I did was prime my lid using the Painterly Paint Pot by MAC, my absolute favourite primer in the whole wide world. It's just so good at adhering all those shadows to the skin. And then I'm just pressing that in with a beauty blender, and then I'm setting it in place with the shade Bump from the Urban Decay Full Spectrum palette, and then going in with the shade Seas, and this is just a nice peachy corally colour, and I'm just using that as my transition shade to give the look a little bit more of a fruity feel. And then taking Love Letter from the Modern Renaissance palette, and this is just a really vibrant pink, so I'm just deepening up that shade and starting to kind of bring out the shape that I want for this eye look, so making it a little bit smoky and a little bit cat eye like. I'm then taking Sketch and Delirious, these two purple shades mixed together from the Full Spectrum palette again, and I'm just popping these on the outer part of my eye and then slowly bringing it into the crease and into the more centre of the eye. And then taking the Maybelline Fit Me concealer in the shade number 10, and I'm just creating a half cut crease. So I'm just using the wand of the concealer, just to carve that out, and then I'm blending it out with my finger and then setting it again with that shade Bump. And then just taking a little bit more of Love Letter and Sketch and Delirious and gradually blending all that together so it's nice and seamless. And then taking Sketch and Delirious again, and I'm just carving out where I'd put the concealer just to make it a little bit more defined and darker around that part of the eye, so it creates more of a cut crease effect. I'm then taking more of Delirious and Sketch mixed together and really deepening out that outer V to make it super deep and dramatic, and really smoking it out to make it quite a heavy smoky eye, and just making sure that it blends into that pink really nicely. I'm then taking the shade Devil from MAC. This is actually a blusher, and I've just popped that on the centre of my lid just to give it a fun sort of different look. And then I'm just taking Bump again and making sure that that white is nice and bright and white and stark, so it's all contrasting. And then I'm doing the exact same thing on the other eye, making sure that it's all blended in nicely, seamless, making sure I've got a really nice shape on that cut crease. Again, taking those two purple colours, making sure that they're nice and deep, and it's nice and very contrast between the purple and the white eyeshadow, because I think that's what really helps the look to stand out. Again, taking the shade Devil onto the centre of my lid. I'm then taking the Steve Laurent Precision Tip Liner in the shade Black, and I'm just lining my doing my liquid liner, lining my upper lash line, and I'm not doing a flick, I am just simply lining it so it's just got a place to hide the lash band of the false eyelashes. I'm then taking a little bit of the white NYX liquid liner, and I saw her do this in a couple of her pictures. It seemed that she had some sort of white across near a lash line on top of her liquid liner, so I thought I'd do a similar sort of thing. These lashes were also the Milan Primark lashes, my absolute favourites. And the foundations, I've just mixed them together. It's the L'Oreal True Match and then the MAC Face and Body. So I've just mixed them together, popping them on my face and then blending them in using a beauty blender, making sure that it's all nicely pressed in. I love this formula because it's really, really light and quite sheer. I'm then taking the Maybelline Fit Me concealer again in number 10, and I'm just dotting that in all the areas which I want a little bit more coverage. So that's kind of in my T-zone and on my cheeks slightly, and just making sure that's pushed in. For my eyebrows, I'm taking the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Blonde. I haven't used this for so long, and at the time of using it I thought, oh god, this is quite tricky because it's been quite a while, but looking back at it now it looks so pretty, so I'm glad I actually ended up using that. So I'm just filling in my brows quite heavily because she does have quite a thick brow. I'm then taking the shade Bump again, and I'm just going underneath my brow bone and bringing it down quite far just to highlight underneath there, to give it a little bit more of a sharper edge and it being a little bit more bright, and there actually being a bit of a space between where the brow finishes and the eyeshadow starts, because sometimes when you're doing quite dramatic eyeshadow it does go into the brow a little bit, so I do try to clean that up. And I'm just making sure all those eyeshadows are blended back into the white nicely. Once I've made sure that brow highlight is all blended into the rest of my shadows, I just take a little spoolie and I comb through my brows quite hard, because I like to make sure that the brows are quite soft and not too harsh, and just keeps everything looking a little bit more natural. I'm then doing exactly the same thing on the other side and using my Dip Brow Pomade just to shape my brows and make them nice and big and fluffy. As you can see, I start at the front of my brow and then kind of work out to the tail until I gradually get the shape that I want. During this process, if you do make any mistakes, you can always take a little bit of concealer and clean it up, and that can also act as a little bit of a brow bone highlight base as well. But here all I'm taking is Bump again and making sure that it's nice and stark and white underneath the brow bone to give that element of contrast again, because this is a festival makeup look, so it can be a little bit more crazy. And then just taking a little bit of mascara. This is one I just got in my glossy box this month, and then I'm taking the NYX Milk liner on my waterline just to make sure my eyes look nice and bright. And then this concealer again is the Maybelline Fit Me in shade number 10, and then I'm just setting it in place with the RCMA No Colour Powder, because this is the best thing ever for making sure your concealer doesn't crease. And then I'm doing the same thing on the other side. I do at this stage use the concealer as a way of kind of cleaning up my eyeshadow to make sure I get the shape that I want, and then I use again the powder to make sure it's all set. On my lower lash line, I am literally doing the exact same process that we did on the top but on the bottom. So I'm first going in with C's and putting that down as a transition shade and kind of connecting it up to my upper eyeshadow, and then I'm going in with Love Letter. Sorry, I know I cut out a little bit when doing this bit of the eyeshadow, but all I'm doing is deepening that up to make sure it's nice and bright and vibrant, because again, this is festival makeup, so that's what we want it to be. Really, really fun. And then I do go on to use a little bit of those two darker shades again and just popping them right in the outer corner just to deepen up the look a little bit, but trying to keep the bottom lash line mainly pink because I don't want to make it too dark. I'm then taking that same bump shade and popping that on my inner corner, and then I'm going over the top with the Anastasia Beverly Hills, I think it's Sugar highlighter palette, to make it all shimmery and pretty, and again popping a little bit of mascara on my lower lashes. I'm then taking the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Light, and I'm just making sure my skin is all matte, and then I'm taking Give Me Sun, and I'm just using this as a light bronzer just to give it a little bit more of a sun-kissed look before I go in with Hoola. I just like to use two bronzers. I think it makes it look so much more natural and gradient. So I just take that on my cheeks, forehead, and on my jawline, making sure it's all seamless. And then I'm just taking Hoola and just adding more depth to it, so going a little bit harder with it on my cheeks, on my temples, and I do just use it to contour my lips as well. The lip liner I've used here is Truffle by NYX, and it's just a nice browny nude colour. I think it's pretty with so many different lipsticks, so I use that just to line my lips because I am doing quite a pale lip, so I did just want something in there just to make it a tiny bit ombre, nothing too over the top. And then I'm taking Honey Love Matte lipstick, my favourite, and then on top of that I'm taking Fortune Cookie Butter Gloss by NYX, and I just love this. And that is the finished look. So if you wanted to, you could leave it here, but I do take it a step further and add the glitter teardrops with hearts on to make it a little bit more fun. So I'm just taking the NYX Gun Metal liquid gel, I think it's like crystal liquid liner or whatever it is, and I just draw on teardrops in a straight line down my cheeks, and I kind of vary the length of them to make them a little bit more interesting. That's also what Brookelle did, and I liked that effect, so I did that. And then because that's quite sticky and wet, while that was drying, I then went on top with this NYX glitter in the shade 6. It's just like a silver holographic glitter, and I just tapped that on top because that's really, really reflective, so I thought it added a little bit more dimension to it. And then I just got these little hearts online, tiny little hearts, I think they're like table decorations, and I just stuck them on with a little bit of the NYX glitter glue that you can get, and just stuck them at the bottom to make them look like little teardrops. And then I did the exact same thing on the other side, and I really do love the way it came out. At the time I wasn't sure, but yeah, I ended up absolutely loving it. I thought it was really different and fun, and it's not a festival makeup look that I have seen a lot of in the past, and I just loved what Brooke had done with it. I thought she looked incredible. I then did take a little bit of that NYX glitter and popped it on my Cupid's bow just for something a little bit different. And this is the finished festival makeup look. As always, thank you so much for watching and for clicking on this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.